So that's pretty straightforward in recording voice links. But the other thing you might want to do in this studio or this booth is to record a telephone interview. Now, everything else is the same to set everything up on here, checking the levels on the computer and checking the mini disc is there and the microphone and all the rest of it. So let's assume that we're actually going to record an interview which needs to go out as an interview rather than a series of clips from the interviewee. So in other words, I'm still bothered about how my voice sounds. So again, you can check that. Alright, well let's say I've done all the checks that I've showed you before, and I'm now set up to record the telephone interview. First of all, I'm going to say hello to the person at the other end, who hopefully I've agreed to call, pressing 9 for an outside line of course, and then I'm going to just call the speaking clock here. Alright, just for the sake, because I don't know whether any colleagues will be at the other end of a phone at the moment. So I've rung up my contact ready to do the interview, and I say, hi, well no, actually be a bit more formal than that. Hello, it's Richard Rudin here from John Moores University. That's right, you agreed to do an interview with me. That's smashing, thanks very much. Now, just to explain, I'm now going to put this call through our equipment here. So you might find there's a few seconds where you can't hear anything from me, and you might hear a few bumps or clicks, but please don't hang up. Because I am there. Okay? Alright, so thank you very much, that's great. I'll speak to you in a second. Put the handset down, then go to the telephone balance unit and press this big white button saying line connect, and then it turns red as you can see, and then open the phone fader here, the green fader, and as you can probably hear through the headphones, we're now hearing Mrs. Tim, as she is, through the desk. And she would now hear me, if I were able to talk to her, not through the handset. That's effectively been dead, or it's now bypassed. I'm actually going to speak to her through the microphone here. So I open up the microphone and she will now hear me, and she'll also hear anything else I put through the mixer. That's very important, because if you're interviewing someone for reaction to perhaps another interview that you've already conducted and you have ready available to play out on the PC, they need to be able to hear that ethically, because otherwise, well, it's against the ethics. So that they're actually responding to what somebody else has actually said rather than your interpretation or summary of it. Once I'm ready to record, exactly the same as before, press File, New, Mono, OK, and we're ready to go. And of course I take her out, down as it were, and then it's just recording me. So it's a good idea if you're asking a question just to reduce the distortion, because these units are designed to reduce the distortion on the phones and the sort of cross distortion, but nevertheless there will be some. So if you're asking a question, just take the fader down a little bit on the phone, nearly to the bottom, and equally, once they're in full flow, you shut up and lower the microphone fader, like that. Okay. So I've now recorded the interview, and I'm happy with it, but what I'm going to say to her is please don't go away just at the moment, because I just need to check the recording. So let's stop the recording, and I'm going to keep the person hanging on there just to make sure that the recording is okay. You can see it is, and it's pretty well almost sort of foolproof, if you like, that it is okay. And then I can just play a little bit again through the computer just to hear.
And 20 seconds.
You can hear that. The fader's already up there, and again you can see it recording. And when of course I take her out, down as it were, then it's just recording me. So it's a good idea if you're asking a question just to reduce the distortion, because these units are... Okay, so it's all there now, and again I would save the recording. So that basically is it. That's how to record voice links and telephone interviews through the equipment here onto Adobe Audition, and to save it. Once I've finished, of course, by the way, with the interview, I'd take that off and I'd say thank you very much for your time. Put the phone down, I should say. And also do make sure, of course, that you thank people by email or even a little card if they've taken the time and trouble to give you, especially if they're important people, to give you the time to do an interview with you. That's true of any interviews, by the way. Okay, so I'm now going to just shut everything down. Obviously, it will ask me if I want to save this, and in this case, I'm going to say no. I'm going to log off, and because these booths can get a bit hot with all this equipment on, let alone the extra arc lights we've brought in for this mega production here, please do switch off things like the monitor, and also switch off the two of the left-hand wall sockets here, so the desk itself is switched off. Leave the others on because they drive the computer and so on. And as you can see, if I do that, we've now got almost no light at all. So as dark descends, I will say that's the end of this demonstration. Thanks for viewing and good luck.